This has to be one of the most epic takedowns I have ever seen on the corporate press. Quote, answer my question. Trump official turns the tables on CNN's Kaitlan Collins by citing lawsuit against her network. Collins tried deflecting in an interview with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs into Signalgate, to which he said, I'm not involved and can't answer. She tries again, bang! He immediately says, tell me why you defamed a veteran and were forced to pay out $5 million. Roll the tape.
Have you ever witnessed a beatdown so clean, so brutal, you had to rewind it just to enjoy the slow motion implosion? Well, buckle up, because this right here is one of the most savage takedowns of the corporate press I've ever seen.
My next source tonight is in the administration and is the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Doug Collins. I should note, no relation, Mr. Secretary. Thank you so much for being here. You served in the Navy and the Air Force. How would you have felt if information like this was talked about in an unclassified group chat, if a Navy fighter pilot, is in the air?
Well, I think the one thing, Kaitlan, it's good to be with you tonight. I think the president and those involved in the chat, which I was not involved in the chat, have explained that. I trust the president's opinion on this. I trust what's been going on. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. My opinion is that my job is to take care of veterans in this country as they come out of service, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
We heard from some of your former colleagues up on the Hill today, some Republicans who said they don't like how the administration is handling this, that they're kind of tying themselves in knots by saying it wasn't classified information. Do you believe that a mistake was made here, though, to have this conversation, to add a reporter and to have it on an unsupported, classified group setting?
Kaitlan, as I've just told you, I've just answered the question. I wasn't part of it. And, I'm not going to speculate more than what the president's already talked about and those who've been involved have talked about. But we'd love to talk about the veterans.
Yeah, and I do have questions about the veterans, but given what we saw with the group chat and how this was used, you are a member of the cabinet. You obviously know these other members, several of them who were in there. Is this typical for the cabinet to have conversations over Signal? Is this something that you use?
Well, Kaitlan, Senator, you undoubtedly do not want to talk about the VA. I have a question as VA Secretary. As Cabinet, I want to ask you, because I've been curious about this, because my job is to take care of veterans, and I would like to know why CNN is hostile to veterans, especially one in Florida, where you just had a $5 million defamation suit taking offense at a veteran who was trying to help people. In fact, one of your employees actually said, we're going to nail him. I have a question for you, Kaitlan. Is that employee still employed? Are you really concerned about veterans?
Trump official turns the tables on CNN's Kaitlan Collins and does it by dropping a lawsuit bomb right out of the gate. This dude was not playing. She tried dragging him into some irrelevant group chat gossip, Signalgate, Slackgate, whatever fake CNN scandal of the week it is, and he shut it down instantly. He says, I wasn't part of the chat. I trust the president. I'm focused on veterans. That's called being an adult, something CNN hasn't seen in years. Then she comes with the spin. Kaitlan goes, you served in the Navy. How would you feel if this was discussed in a group chat? You can feel the desperation. She's fishing, trying to tie this man into something shady so she can run another hit piece. But he's not taking the bait. Instead, he calmly reminds her, I'm here for the veterans, not your little media drama. And let's be real. How disrespectful is this? You're grilling a decorated veteran and current VA secretary about chat apps instead of talking about the real issues affecting millions of veterans across the country. But then it gets nuclear. He flips it and says, why is CNN so hostile to veterans? And then he drops the bomb. Your network had to pay $5 million for defaming a veteran. You can't just see it. You can feel it. Caitlin's face freezes like a deer in woke headlights.
So if we don't want to talk about veterans now, you want to talk about everything else, I'd like to hear from CNN as the Veteran Cabinet Secretary why CNN seems to have a problem with veterans.
Well, Mr. Secretary, respectfully, my question was about whether or not you as a member of the cabinet use this. And respectfully, I'm conducting the investigation. And I do have a lot of questions for you on Veterans Affairs, but I don't think it would be unwarranted to ask if you as a member of the cabinet.
I've already answered. And if you want to continue this like this, that's fine. But there are VA employees who are working very hard. There are veterans who get their care from the VA and they get their benefits from the VA. and it does me no good to speculate on something that I've already asked and answered. So I've asked and answered your question. Why don't you answer mine? Is this person still employed who said they were going to nail one of my veterans, who you had to do a $5 million award from a jury because of defamation, and then you settled the case? Answer my question.
Respectfully, sir, I'm asking the questions here, and I have no involvement in what you're referencing there. But if you don't want to answer the question about whether or not it's commonplace for secretaries in the cabinet to use Signal, you are running the Veterans Affairs, and we do have a lot of questions about that because there's been big things happening. You and I were just talking about this before this interview started, and I told you I'd get to these questions about Veterans Affairs. You don't want to answer that one. We'll talk.
Boom. He hits it. Is that CNN employee who said we're going to nail him still employed? Because this is what accountability looks like. CNN ran a hit piece back in 2021, tried to destroy a veteran's life, and they got crushed in court. A jury awarded $5 million in damages. CNN had to settle. And now Kaitlan Collins wants to pretend like that it never happened. Doug didn't let her off the hook, though. He demanded answers. And what did she have? Nothing. Just awkward, stammering, and desperate attempts to change the subject. Then came the classic CNN cop-out. I'm asking the questions here. Oh, there it is. The fallback when they're cornered. That's what they do. Well, guess what, Kaitlan? When you represent a network that smeared a veteran and lost in court for it, you don't get to play righteous. You don't get to pretend this is journalism. This wasn't an interview. It was a CNN ambush, and she got embarrassed on national television. Let's put things in perspective. CNN pushed a full-blown fake story on a veteran helping with Afghanistan evacuations. They accused him of being a scammer. They know what actually happened. He did nothing wrong. They just didn't like that he made Biden look bad, so they tried to bury him. They got caught. They lost in court. They paid out millions. And somehow, they still walk around claiming they're proud of their journalism. Proud of lying? Proud of paying out hush money? Yeah, great job.
Talk about what the VA did announce that they were suspending $2 billion in
Epic takedown from Doug Collins. No relation to Kaitlan Collins. Take a look at this from January. CNN settles with U.S. Navy veteran after defamation verdict. This is just 2 months ago. $5 million. They ran a 2021 segment on evacuations in Afghanistan. And they were claiming this guy was basically a scammer. Following the verdict, the two parties settled the case as punitive damages phase was underway. We remain proud of our journalists and are 100% committed to strong, fearless, and fair-minded reporting. Really? They said they wanted to get this guy. They were going to nail this guy. He didn't do anything wrong. It was a legitimate business. That's the reporting. CNN decided they were going to turn this guy into a villain. You know what I love about this exchange? Respectfully, I'm asking the questions. Yo, homie already told you. I can't speculate. I mean, and you know what I got to say to Doug Collins? He respectfully answered her question. The first question she asks. And he says, can't really talk about that because I wasn't involved. You know, the president has issued statements, so I can't really speculate as to what was going on. She keeps.
So whatever CNN was trying to do here, it backfired big time. Doug Collins didn't just stay calm. He exposed CNN's hypocrisy live on air, and millions saw it. He didn't dodge. He didn't squirm. He answered her questions once, respectfully, then called her and her network out for what they really are, merchants of misinformation. Let's be real. CNN's been fabricating, defaming, and gaslighting the American people for years. From the Russia hoax to the COVID lies to the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up. It's been lie after lie after lie. And when someone like Doug finally holds them accountable, they panic. This is the new playbook, and I'm here for it. Mega leaders need to go on the offensive. This is how you dismantle the fake news media with facts, receipts, and composure. And if you're done watching CNN pretend to be journalists while smearing real Americans, it's time to fight back. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel for more truth bombs like this. Share this video with every America First patriot you know. We're just getting started, and CNN, they just got a taste of what happens when the right stops playing nice.